The day will come when they do that as well, and they both look forward to it very much. It's an amazing feeling, and Taehyung honestly has a hard time remembering how it felt not being with Jungkook. And he's certainly not sorry about that. Taehyung doesn't leave Jungkook's place until 3 days later, and to be completely frank, he hardly leaves his bed during this time either. It may be a bit excessive and somewhat ridiculous. They're not teenagers anymore, for crying out loud, but if asking them, it couldn't be more perfect. This is euphoria. This is what being constantly high on physical and emotional pleasure is all about. This is as close to heaven one gets without dying. Taehyung has learned to understand how destructive this with Yeonjun had been, but going through this real deal of euphoria is the final piece in the puzzle of healing. It's a sad realization, but also a necessary one. Jungkook gentlemanly serves him everything he needs, even the occasional carry of him into the bathroom for a shower or put on a chair in the kitchen, wrapped in a duvet, waiting for food. Taehyung gives back in everything he can, showing and telling Jungkook how much he loves him in every arising opportunity. On the 4th day, Taehyung has a meeting with his manager, which is a very exciting meeting about the future. It's just that Taehyung doesn't feel one bit like he wants to leave Jungkook. Even considering calling in sick, he finally decides not to. He should really go. After all, he and Jungkook have all the time in the world to go back to bed again after the meeting. Jungkook encourages him to go as well, so that's why he, a bit bruised and a bit disconnected with reality, finds himself in a cab on his way to his manager's office in the city center. "Tae, I've got big plans for you," Chloe says as soon as Taehyung steps inside her office, greeting him with a warm hug. "Okay, that sounds interesting, let's hear it." He smiles and sinks down in one of 2 small, leather sofas in her office. "I know that you've been writing a lot of music and that you probably already have enough material for a record. And that you want to get out on the road rather sooner than later, to tour the world," she continues. "And well, yes, Taehyung wants that very much. It's just that something very real and lovable has him in a vice grip here in London at the moment. And could you give it a guess? He thinks that won't change for quite some time. I want that. Yeah, but I also am no longer in a hurry to make it happen," he says easily and draws Chloe's attention on him. "But, okay. Now, that was news to me," she says, surprised, and slowly closes the lid of her laptop, looking intently at him from across where she sits behind her desk. "To me as well, up until recently, to be honest. I've got someone here now that I really don't want to leave for the length of a tour. Not right now," she says, smiling softly, curiously. "Care to share the lovely news? Well, I'm in love," he says and blushes slightly, avoiding her gaze for a few seconds. "I can't imagine being away from him for months on end, not now, when we have just gotten together." He shrugs and looks at her, sincerely. "I can't see myself on tour until at least half a year from now, probably longer. I want to postpone the whole thing for a while, Taehyung. I mean, for the past half year you've been saying that you need to get out there, and not anymore. But do you really think this is a wise idea, dropping your dream for love?" "Yes, this time it's very wise, believe me, but what if it doesn't last? Don't get me wrong. I'm extremely happy for you, Tae, but we still need to start to plan the tour now, even if you're thinking about doing it half a year from now. I know that, Chloe. This time I just want to work with my music a bit more, put together the record in peace, no rush, you see what I mean? And spend time with my boyfriend." He fixates her with his eyes, because she needs to understand that this isn't a spontaneous thing for him. This is very real. And before she has time to open her mouth, he continues, "And, for the record, I'm not dropping anything, I'm postponing it. I just can't go away right now, It's not an option. Who is this man who has stolen your heart like this? She would very much like to know, tilting her chin in a slightly challenging way. I will tell you, and I know that we need to go official, and all that, but right now we just want our peace for a while, so he's high profile. Well, he shrugs and she sighs. Taehyung, I kind of need to know things like this. I'm your manager. The thing is, she's right. They need to have a very open and trusting relationship with each other to make things work. He should really let her in on this one, and also, it wouldn't be more than fair given that he, in the blink of an eye, has overturned all the carefully outlined and probably already far-reaching plans for his and their near work future. It's Jungkook, he blurts out and thinks, it. She's going to know at some point anyway, why not just give it to her? Her eyes go round and big and her jaw drops to her chest. No way, she whispers, looking outrageous. Already Taehyung smiles, because he just cannot, when talking about the absolute love of his life, who he in this moment already misses profoundly. Yeah, but when do you wanna? Isn't he? I'm guessing we'll drop the bomb in about a month. We've just talked very briefly about it so far. And no, he's not with Justin anymore. Her face cracks up in a contagious smile and she nods repeatedly, as if to herself, mumbling, I knew it was going to be the two of you again someday. Taehyung shrugs and stands up, shoving his hands down his back pockets. I do want to make some new music, still. And I'm thinking that I'm just gonna make that phase a bit longer. Would you set me up with the studio and my people ASAP? I've actually got some ideas I'd like to run by you guys. She stands up as well. Of course. Wow, I'm happy for you, Taehyung. I really am. But please, consider half a year the deadline for when you need to get out there again. You don't want people to forget about you. Okay, he smiles and raises a hand in a goodbye gesture. We'll see, we'll see. Overall, he considers it a good meeting, resulting in him setting the terms of his own future. He cannot wait to discuss the timelines and plans and everything with Jungkook. This time they'll find a way to combine their passion for music and touring with the passion they hold for each other. Taehyung is sure of it when Taehyung comes back. Jungkook meets him in the hallway, no question about his intentions, and Taehyung is game straight away. So much so that when Jungkook, without a word of greeting, backs him into the wall next to the full-body mirror, Taehyung throws off his shirt and unbuttons his jeans on the fly. Jungkook is determined and very assertive when pressing his body against Taehyung, starting to kiss him fiercely with a strong hand in the back of Taehyung's hair, holding him in place. There's not much Taehyung can want to do except for letting go completely and submit to Jungkook's lead. Feeling Jungkook's purposeful hands wander down his torso, Taehyung gasps. The fabric of his trousers the only thing between his Jungkook's firmly massages. Jesus, it feels so good, and Taehyung's uncontrollably. His behavior borders on rapacious, which triggers Taehyung in all the right places, and he gets so fast, it's almost painful. There's no question about it. This is Jungkook with a very clear game plan, most surely including the dominant side of him. So, it's no surprise to Taehyung when Jungkook breaks the kiss and groans into his neck. I'm gonna Taehyung, you okay with that? And that's not normally the way they do it. Definitely not. Jungkook topping is unusual. Not because it's not good, on the contrary, they just, normally, prefers it the other way around. For example, since they got back together it hasn't happened once, and they've been at it quite excessively. Considering how Jungkook has acted since Taehyung got home, though, he would have been rather surprised if Jungkook hadn't planned for their next round to feature a twist. Yeah? You want my and yeah, that's Jungkook starting to talk, and Taehyung absolutely loves it. It also makes him very aware that he's got some control to let go of. It's about getting into the right headspace, but he can do that, Taehyung whispers, deliberately innocently, contributing to the build-up. You're massive, babe. Go easy on me. This is not about getting into character. They're going to more or less like they normally do. Except for enhancing their roles, compared to when they do it the other way around. Don't you worry, Jungkook groans and pushes Taehyung. And you're gonna take it without whining, aren't you? A tingle runs up Taehyung's spine, making him shiver noticeably, and he bites his lower lip hard to contain himself. I won't, not even when you think the pressure's too tough or it's hurting too much. Right. Taehyung's voice is clearly unsteady. But I'm not gonna do that. Don't wanna hurt that ass of yours more than necessary, do I? Taehyung feels lightheaded, disillusioned almost. What does he answer to that? How does Jungkook wanna play this? But then he remembers that this is his Jungkook. He knows him, and he trusts him, and he's 100% positive that Jungkook wants Taehyung to play this the way he likes. So why not just go for it, Taehyung thinks, smiling a bit smugly to himself. Thanks, babe, he whispers breathlessly, wetting his lips seductively since he knows that Jungkook's looking at him. I know you'll do me as you find appropriate, and I'll take everything you'll give me, all the way. And had they not been so tuned in on each other, Taehyung probably wouldn't have heard it, but as it is now, he hears that the gasp escaping Jungkook's throat is shaky. Good to know that he's human, Taehyung thinks, slightly amused, realizing that this is affecting them both equally as much. Jungkook suddenly backs off from Taehyung and turns him around, their hot gazes locking. They're balancing on a thin line here, Taehyung can tell, where they're trying to determine whether they're going to continue whatever this hot is that they're doing right now, or if they're just gonna drop everything and right here, right now.